race can teach useful lessons about life, it's always about a team working together to achieve that common goal of victory.
In a relay race to deliver world-class transportation system in Lagos State, Dr. Dayo Mobriola was a pioneering sprinter as the managing director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA. So great was his race that he was made the Honorable Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos State and had to pass on the baton to Mr. Iyiola Adegboye, now the acting managing director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA.
After the news highlights, we'll be speaking with him about LAMATA's mission to keep Lagos moving, the varied projects under the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP2, and the implementation of the Strategic Transport Master Plan, STMP, other issues of interest, among others. Stick around. I am Kate Harmony.
I am Obafemi Craig. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the news highlight on LAMATA FR. Mr. Fola Tinubu, the Managing Director of Primero Transport Services Limited, operator of the Ikorodu to CMS Bus Rapid Transit BRT system, has promised to end the long queues experienced by commuters along the corridor. Tinubu said Primero is working closely with LAMATA to ensure passengers' waiting time at the bus stops are shortened as more buses being prepared for deployment along the corridor to improve the turnaround time. He said over 90 new buses were brought in over the weekend and stabled at the Ojota depot for strategic deployment along the corridor. Tinubu said although 434 new buses were procured to operate the corridor, about 325 buses are currently running the corridor due to availability of space to stable the buses. LAMATA is currently constructing new depot and upgrading other facilities along the corridor to accommodate the deployment of the remaining buses. Tinubu said Primero would ensure that passengers wait less than 30 minutes at any of the bus shelters to get on a bus. The Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, has once again reiterated the commitment of the Lagos State government to implementing the Strategic Transport Master Plan. Mr. Iyiola Adegboye, Acting Managing Director of the authority, said the plan, when fully implemented, would deliver a world-class transportation system with state-of-the-art public transport infrastructure and modes that will take care of the state commuter needs. Adegboye noted that the state is currently working on new projects on the plan that will be made public in time. He urged members of the public to continue to support the government through tax payment and by protecting the infrastructure already provided with taxpayers' money. The Strategic Transport Master Plan, when fully implemented by 2032, will deliver to Lagos 6 rail lines, 1 monorail, 14 BRT corridors, 23 water routes, and 5 cable car routes, among other transport infrastructure. That ends the news highlight.
We are in the second phase of the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP, which LAMATA is currently implementing. Its goal is very simple: to make public transportation in Lagos State at par with global best practices, available and accessible to commuters.
From road rehabilitation to the provision of alternative transportation and world-class bus rapid transit BRT buses, many successes have been recorded. Mr. Iyiola Adegboye, the Acting Managing Director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, is on track with a vision.
So what's LAMATA's recent achievements on this project? What is the progress of the rehabilitation work on the bus shelters from Mile 12 to CMS? Is funding available to continue the good work given the current state of the economy? And what is the next big transportation project on the Transport Master Plan of Lagos State?
Mr. Iyiola Adegboye, the Acting Managing Director, LAMATA, has graciously invited us to discuss these and more, and he insisted that we bring you along. Let's join him now. Today
Today we have the pleasure of speaking with the Acting Managing Director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, Mr. Iyiola Adegboye, who will be bringing us up to speed with different projects, infrastructure handled by LAMATA. Join us. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Kate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
And you?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, welcome to LAMATA.
Thank you very much.
Good.
You're welcome to the program.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a pleasure once again.
You're welcome.
Okay, we know that LAMATA is currently implementing the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP Phase 2. What has been the achievements so far?
Well, talking about our achievements, I could say they are out there for people to see. However, in LAMATA, before we embark on any project, at a conceptualization stage, what we usually do is to determine what we call project development objectives.
Okay.
In other words, what are we going to achieve by embarking on the following projects? And we look at at what is in existence. That is, if we are to work on a corridor, we look at what is in that corridor in terms of the travel patterns of the commuters along the corridor. We look at what is the characteristics of the people using that corridor, and we normally carry out what we call a survey, which we normally refer to as a preliminary survey of the area. That is the baseline studies, so to say, to put it in the simple language. By the time we now conclude the project, we look at the set objective which we have been able to gather from our baseline studies, and we now compare it with what we are able to achieve after the execution of the project. For instance, in most of the projects we executed, we look at the time it takes people to travel from one point to the other, and of course we compare that with what we now achieve by the time the project is concluded. Ditto for how much it costs them before we intervene, and of course what it costs them by the time we intervene. I can categorically confirm that for all the projects we've executed during LTP2, we'll be able to achieve our what we call the key performance indicators.
Which were?
For instance, the travel time has been reduced by between 40 to 1 hour, between 40 minutes to 1 hour.
Okay.
The money the commuters spend on transportation has reduced by 50% in some places, and of course by more than 50% in some places.
Okay.
For instance, if we look at our BLT project between Maitrewa and Ikorodu, we are able to save the time commuters spend on the road by more than 60%. And of course, what it costs them to come from Ikorodu to CMS has been reduced by about half.
Okay.
Prior to our intervention, people were spending between 400 and 450 to commute themselves from Ikorodu to CMS. But with the intervention, they are now spending around 195 naira to 200 naira. So there's more than 50% reduction.
How has this infrastructure supported the vision of Lagos State in providing a world-class transportation system for the people?
Well, let me start by letting you know the vision of Lagos State government. The vision of the present government, in fact, the present government and of course the former government, is to ensure that majority of commuters in Lagos, they use public transportation. In other words, the more people use the public transportation, the less the traffic you find on the roads. And you can only do that if you provide infrastructures that will support that. And that is what we've done between Maitrewa and Ikorodu. And we encourage people to drop their cars and use the public transportation. You can only achieve that if the alternative we are providing is better than what they are using at present. And if you look at the infrastructures along that corridor, it's a world-class infrastructure, the kind of infrastructure you find in an advanced country. And we'll be able to put high-capacity buses, Wi-Fi enabled, air-conditioned buses that will attract people to drop their vehicles and use. And quite a number of people have attested to this. Quite a number of people living in Ikorodu have confirmed that since the launching of the BRT project, with effect from October 12th last year, quite a number of them have been dropping their vehicles and using the BLT buses.
Okay.
And that is one of the objectives of the Lagos state government. It's one of the visions. And you see, if you take one high-capacity bus, it carries about 32 passengers. That is what 3 Danvos can carry. So, in other words, you have reduced the number of small vehicles you have on the road by increasing what the high-capacity buses can take.
Okay, let's talk about there's an upsurge. It's the current situation right now, the use of the BRT corridor. When I mean the BRT corridor, from Mile 12, both the main carriageway and the BRT lanes by Okada riders. How have you been able to tackle this?
Well, initially, before the commissioning of the project, that was correct. But since we commissioned the project in October, that has reduced in a way, but I won't say that it has been totally eradicated.
Okay.
For you to ensure that Okada and those that are supposed not to use the corridor are not using it, what we need is enforcement, enforcement, and enforcement. And that we've started a few months ago, which is yielding results. We've ensured that we have quite a number of last mile people on the corridor, and of course the police are also assisting, and we've equipped them in a way that they will be able to achieve the objective set, and the objective is to ensure zero tolerance for those that are supposed not to use the place, that they don't use the corridor. And of course there's an act backing that. One would not expect Okada and some other vehicles that are supposed not to use the corridor to use the place, because there's an act that has banned Okada from using the major highways, and it is even in their own interest, because in those days when they were using highway, quite a number of accidents were being recorded. If you go to Omobi in those days, you see quite a number of Okada people that have been involved in one accident or the other. But if you go there today, that number has reduced. But no matter the level of awareness created by us, we still need enforcement. Nigerians being what we are, I don't know.
It's very clear. I agree
honestly,
with you. I agree with you. Another aspect I really want to look at is also the way people violate, the way people destroy infrastructure that have been provided, like the barricades that were built, raised at the Mile 12 K2 area. You see that people are already bending the spikes, and they still try as much as possible to cross over. And sometimes when you're passing, you see last mile officials standing there. Yes, I'm going to mention it because it's really important. You see a last mile official standing there. Sometimes policemen standing there, and they watch people cross over. It's illegal. It's not safe.
Yeah.
But people do it.
Yeah.
How do we tackle this?
Well, I still go back to what I said when we started, that enforcement, enforcement, and enforcement. And from time to time, the police, the law enforcement people, they always go on retreat. They discuss most of these things to improve their efficiency and effectiveness. We continue to ensure that they improve from time to time. But having said that, Nigerians being what we are, you can't rule out a few violations from time to time. And where that is noted, they will be arrested and dealt with accordingly.
That's okay. So LAMATA is currently upgrading the bus shelters along the Mile 12 to CMS BRT corridor to bring them at par with the new bus shelters from Mile 12 to Ikorodu BRT extension. However, work appears to have really slowed down. So on the project, any reason for this?
Well, the contract for that corridor is to be executed within 12 months. And most of, about 80% of items they are to use for the contract have been fabricated in the factory. Though you may not see many people on the road, the work is going on at the back end. And what do I mean? The items will be used are being fabricated. It's just a matter of bringing those items by the time they are ready, and we just fix them. I still believe we will be able to achieve, to complete the project within the stipulated period of 12 months. In fact, within 8 months, that project will be totally completed. What we are seeing on the road is just maybe between 15 to 20% of the activities going on.
So that's a word of hope for our viewers out there.
That, yeah.
Okay, so we are saying in Nigeria times are hard, there's no petrol, things are difficult right now.
Yeah.
And we still see some of LAMATA's projects going on. How have you been able to fund this project?
How have we been able to fund this project? Let me start by saying that in those old days, in fact in early 60s, people will tell you that things are hard, things are tough. Now we are in year 2016, we are still saying the same thing.
Things are still
and the
tough.
things will be tougher as we enter future years. So what we do in LAMATA is to build into our plan the fact that things will be tough. We build that into our plan. So by the time we now start to execute, we don't have much problems. And
Okay.
we normally ensure that we plan forward. For instance, what we intend to do in year 2020, year 2018, 2017, we've started planning that now. And within the planning document, we've built into it the fact that maybe exchange rate may go haywire, the economy may slow down, the growth may be this, etc., etc. We have different scenarios, and we have quite a few sensitivity analysis, so that if certain thing happen, we build something we need to do to reduce the impact of that hardship on our projects.
That's a very wise thing to do, and I hope
you.
our viewers are listening. This is one thing you have to do. It's trying time. So when you want to plan, make projections, look at the worst case scenario and make your plans appropriately. Learn from LAMATA.
Thank
Okay,
you.
at the trial of this administration at the federal government level, the Lagos State government was granted access to the Nigeria Railway Corporation, NRC, for the construction of the Red Line. There appears to be maybe an absence of information. We are not getting enough information about the Red Line. Any update on that?
Well, very soon there will be lots of information that we will let the public be aware. But as we are talking now, quite a lot of work is being done. Okay. And until we get to certain level, before we start talking to the public, but I can assure you that a lot of work is being done as we are talking now.
No concrete word?
Pardon?
Nothing concrete.
The concrete word I will tell you is that the right of way for the corridor has been given to the Lagos State government. Okay. And based on that, quite a number of activities are going on, which we make public later.
So when should we see the next project from the Strategic Transport Master Plan implemented?
The master plan details out what Lagos State government is going to do between now and the next 30 years. Okay. And within that 30 years, we've broken it into what we do in the immediate, what we do in the medium term, and of course in the long term. And we've been executing that consistently in the last few years. We brought out my trip to Ikorodu from the Strategic Transport Master Plan. Okay. A few other projects, we've brought them out now in 2016, which we've started the preliminary work. By towards the end of this year, quite a number of those projects we will have started. And of course, some of them will start in 2017. Mm-hmm. I can assure you that we are committed to the Strategic Transport Master Plan. We're executing it according to what we have in the document. And like I said, as we are talking now, we've started working on 2 other projects, which we will unfold very soon.
What I need just to know, maybe the projects, can we?
Well, we have one BRT corridor, which I won't mention the corridor now until it is approved by Lagos State Executive Council. Okay. The waterways, quite a number of them are being worked upon now. Dredging is going on along our waterways, and of course, quite a number of jetties are being constructed. They are those things we have in the Strategic Transport Master Plan. And of course, the rail project is ongoing, which is the Blue Line. We just discussed about the Red Line. Those are items we have in the Strategic Transport Master Plan, that are being executed.
Okay, so we are looking forward to all these
quite a number
for a better Lagos.
Yes.
So your parting shot to our viewers at home.
Well, just like I always advise, we expect Lagosians to own all the infrastructures being put in place by Lagos State government. If they take ownership, they will look after those infrastructures. it will last for everybody, and of course it will achieve the purpose that they are supposed to achieve. And in addition to that, for government to do more, we should be encouraged. And how will Lagosians encourage us? By ensuring that they pay their taxes as and when due, because the more taxes they pay, the more the government can do. And of course, I said, when they find out that people are vandalizing the infrastructure, they should report to government, and they should ensure that they look after those infrastructure as if it is their asset. In fact, of course, it's their assets, because those infrastructures were put in place using the taxpayers' money. So they should ensure that they guide those infrastructure, those assets jealously, just the way they look after their own assets.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Our duty on LAMATA Hour is to deliver to you all the information you need about the projects that LAMATA is embarking on. The other part of the responsibility is with you, to safeguard it and to own it. I am Kate Harmony. LAMATA Hour continues. You heard him yourself. Mr. Iyiola Adegboye, the acting managing director of LAMATA, is clearly an able captain suited for the task. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Share with us the wonder, curiosity, and motivation that we feel when you send in your messages like the one we received from you this week. Like Mary Williams, you posted saying, "Good day. I had Mr. Fola Tinubu this morning, Tuesday morning on Traffic Radio, when he talked about the ticket hiccups. I would like to suggest that the Lagos Connect card and manual ticketing should run pari passu, because the public is a mixture of elite and not too literate people. By the time both systems become effective, the delays will fizzle out. Tried calling Traffic Radio while the program was going on, but line was busy. Thank you." Larry, thank you for the comment. I believe the operator of the BRT system have the same thinking. Your comment is noted. And just to let you know that LAMATA's radio program, LAMATA 360 Degrees, is always on air on Traffic Radio 96.1 FM every Tuesday, 8:15 a.m. to 9 a.m. Do ensure you listen in every Tuesday. Thank you, and don't stop sending your questions, comments, and remarks to any of the following.
Thank you for being with us on today's show. Just before we go, pedestrians, always remember that Lagos is the city that never sleeps. So before you step out in the dark, either in the early mornings or after the sun has set, make yourself visible to vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians to avoid fatal clashes and collisions.
Don't wear dark fabrics that camouflage you, but light ones like white and yellow that makes you visible to other road users from a distance. They are also translucent materials and shoes that shine in the dark to make you seen from afar. I am Obafemi Craig.
I am Kate Harmony. LAMATA.
Keeping Lagos moving.
Eko Akete, Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best. BRT lanes, modern rail lines, pedestrian bridges.